It seems like the Virginia judge handling their case is tired of Amber's lies and is not willing to listen to her anymore.
Amber Heard and Johnny Depp have been battling head-to-head for years. The case between the two kind of presents itself to be in a bit of a pause due to the fact that their court date has been pushed back, but also because both sides are mostly quiet at this time. While many believe that Depp and his team are working silently to gather all the evidence they can against her, others believe that he may just be trying to get a break from it all. But one who tends to stay relevant and in the spotlight happens to be Amber Heard, but not too many are enjoying this. Amber Heard is getting nervous, signs that the judge is over her. In what can be best be characterized as the epitome of Karenism and obscene privilege, in a year when millions of people have perished, hundreds of thousands are without sufficient money for basic necessities like rent and food, and still thousands more are becoming sick with a yet uncontrolled and very deadly virus every day. Amber Heard, whose greatest claim to fame is having once been married to Johnny Depp, gave an interview to the UK's Sky News this week to complain about how hard her year has been because she was compelled to go to court and will be compelled to go to court again soon in 2021 for abusing her former husband Depp and then slandering him in print. "Nothing could have prepared for me for 2020, she told the network, who will be airing The Stand, starring Heard, Whoopi Goldberg, and James Marsden in the UK. "I don't think anything could have prepared me." In a brief and very rare moment of reflection, almost as an aside, Heard acknowledged that she's probably not alone in saying that. Glossing over the pain and destruction the coronavirus has brought worldwide, the ridiculous notion that suddenly losing a loved one or struggling to put food on the table is in any way comparable to having to sit in court for a few days because you choose to defame your ex-partner, which is what Heard implies, proves that Heard is the ultimate Karen, obscenely privileged and obscenely oblivious at once. The Stand is one of Stephen King's most popular novels and deals with, appropriately, an extremely deadly virus with an astronomically high 99.4% mortality rate. Unfortunately, Heard's casting as Nadine Cross, one of the story's main characters, complicates the show's reception amongst potential fans, many of whom have been using social media over the past year to denounce the sexist favoritism that has been playing out before them regarding Heard. Further controversy surrounding the casting of a hearing actor for a deaf role as opposed to an actual deaf actor shows the extent to which the show suffers from incredibly poor casting decisions, including that of casting Amber Heard. While Johnny Depp has been asked to resign and or been forcibly removed from various movie roles in the midst of attempting to clear his name from the questionable accusations publicly brought against him by Heard, including movie roles indelibly tied to Depp and which owe their success to Depp's skills as an actor and his resilient star power. See Captain Jack Sparrow. Heard has largely evaded facing any consequences for the credible abuse Depp has said she inflicted on him. Abuse Heard herself admits to in multiple audio recordings she made of herself and Depp during various mediation and counseling sessions. For more background and clips of these recordings, please see my previous stories. Heard has in fact profited considerably from her accusations, which has effectively raised Heard's public profile, increasing her work opportunities in Hollywood. Her self-promoted and yet demonstrably false claims that she donated the $7 million of divorce settlement money she received from Depp to charity, which she was required to do as per their settlement, have further helped Heard obtain work as an inspirational speaker on the subject of domestic violence, from which she now charges $33,000 per appearance. Publicly available donor disclosures from the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, one of the two organizations Heard was supposed to equally divide her settlement money amongst, show that while Heard misled the public and press to believing that she would and had donated her divorce settlement money, Heard never donated anything. Per these documents, the only money CHLA ever received ostensibly from Heard was actually from Depp himself, who gave an initial $100,000 to the hospital in Heard's name. It was actually Depp's preference to donate all of the $3.5 million intended for CHLA directly to the hospital himself. Heard fought him on this point and received the money instead, which she apparently ended up keeping. Heard is in court now arguing and refusing to provide receipts that show what she really did with the money, citing privacy. Depp has provided the court receipts of his donations. In yet another instance of mind-boggling Karenism and a demonstrable, complete lack of self-awareness in the same interview with Sky News, Heard explains her attraction to the role of Nadine Cross as stemming from her interest in playing a character who is functioning like many of us are behind several layers of masks that change, depending on what our situation is and who are we dealing with. Coming from a person who admits to hitting her partner on multiple occasions and further belittling, mocking, ridiculing, gaslighting, screaming at, and intimidating them in private, but who then stands before a crowd of people claiming victimhood, this sort of disclosure is both shocking in its blindness and yet incredibly telling. A Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde dual personality, like the one Heard is admitting to having here, is a character trait strongly associated with people who abuse their partners. This explosive duality is in fact fully evident in many of Heard's audio recordings, in which 1 minute she is arguing with Depp that she didn't hit him, but not punch him, belittling a partner's lived experience in a relationship and minimizing the seriousness of their violence are common character traits among abusers per the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, while in the next minute Heard is shouting at Depp, mocking him for not accepting her abuse. Abusers are often also pleasant and charming between periods of violence, which one can argue Heard is in her Sky News interview and can often mislead people outside the relationship into believing they are nice, which Heard has succeeded at with many. The telling signs of their abusive personalities are there, however, if one looks for them beneath the surface. Amber Heard is the quintessential Karen and an abusive one at that. How much longer she is able to deceive people and herself remains to be seen. Depp is suing at Newsgroup newspaper, publisher of The Sun, and the paper's executive editor Dan Wooton over an April 2018 article that called him a wife beater. She strongly denies abusing Heard. In a written witness statement released as he appeared in court Thursday, Security Officer Sean Badd said that throughout the course of Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard's relationship, Ms. Heard was verbally and physically abusive towards Mr. Depp. Ms. Heard often behaved in this way when she had been drinking. I learned quickly to recognize the signs so that we were able to leave the situation before it escalated further, he said.